I look like shit, but I thought I would vlog a little bit. Right, Tukey? Tukey, you wanna go outside? Go outside. Boo Radley? Boo! Boo, you wanna go outside? What are we doing? What are you doing, Boo Radley? So, it was like really nice. It's like 75 outside today. They've been upstairs with Alex. He's watching movies. I was filming my videos. I'm now getting ready to sit out here. I haven't answered Snapchats in like 4 days, so I'm getting ready to answer Snapchats. Put this camera right here for a second. Whew, this t-shirt is not looking so good. I'm getting ready to answer Snapchats, and then I'm gonna read. What are we barking about? No. No. Answer Snapchats, and then I'm gonna read. I have like 150 pages of that book, and I want to finish it. And I want to finish Final Girls tonight, and then I'll have had. What are we barking at? What's going on out here? Huh? What's going on? What do you see? Let's go check out my neighbor's tomatoes. Tomatoes. So yeah, I'm gonna read these books and relax. We went to brunch today to Cafe Patachou, my favorite place, and I had an omelet and an everything bagel. This t-shirt shows like all of my mistakes. Alex had Cuban breakfast. I had a cup of coffee. What else did I have? And he had a cup of chili. He had a bowl of chili. And then we came home. I made my videos. I've been working on videos. And he was watching Baby Driver. He said it was really good. Transformers, he finished. And then he watched Baby Driver. I don't know what he's getting ready to watch now. Should we go ask him? You ready to go inside, Pee-Pee? What movie are you going to watch now? Hello? Hello? Duncan, come on. And the house is so spooky and clean. See, I have all my books straightened over here. The candle wax but going. It's called housewarming or something like that. So yeah. Pee-Pee, come on, honey. Come on, bud. Come on now. Pee-Pee, come on, 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 come on. Yeah. Come on. You wanna go inside and watch TV with Daddy? Okay. What about you? What are you gonna do, Chucky? Tucker? Okay, so I'm gonna go do all this now and let them go rest with their dad. I will talk to you guys in a little while. Hello. Well, we went to a meeting. And I came home. And I did a live stream. I talked to Alex for a little bit. And now I'm leaving. I have 2 hours left of my audiobook. Final Girls. And I'm gonna finish it tonight. Final Girls. And it's really good. It's very uncomfortable to read. I don't even really know how to explain it. Do you ever watch like a TV show or read a book or a movie or see a movie that makes you like, there was like it was weird. It was like a shot like went off and that people's like the upstairs of their like lights. But anyway, do you ever read something that like makes you uncomfortable and you're like, oh, I meant to grab a bottle of water. I didn't. But anyway, do you ever read anything and it makes you like uncomfortable to read or watch it, and you don't know really why it makes you uncomfortable, but like at the same time you think it's kind of like part of the purpose of like the movie or the book or whatever that you're reading? I think that's kind of like part of the deal with... I need to deposit some money to the bank. I was going to go this way, but I think... Well, I can still do that, I guess. I just feel like it's going to take me a longer way to do that. I want a Diet Coke from McDonald's because I forgot my water. You guys, I get so many comments from people about me getting a Diet Coke at McDonald's. That, like, cracks my shit up, right? Like, that. Anyway, I want to say this about the thing. Okay, so, like, do you ever, like, read something or see a movie and, like, you don't really like it because it makes you uncomfortable, but if you stepped back from it, what you would realize was that the intention of the director or the author or whatever, the actor, is to make you uncomfortable. And so, like, they're achieving what they're... Okay, and this book is very much like that. Like, I'm just kind of ready for it to be over. Like, it's a good book, but at the same time, it's uncomfortable to read. And, do you guys ever, like, see... I'm trying to think of a movie that I've seen like that. Did you ever see the movie Cube, the horror movie back in the day, where all the people were stuck in those cubes and they had to go from one room to the next and the next, and they were just like, basically like, it's terrifying. There's been like 3 of them made, but they're like just, like nobody ever talks about those movies anymore. I wonder why, but they were for me like terrifying, because they were just like never ending. Like you just would be stuck in this forever, right? And I remember the one movie, like the guy like opens the door and it like looks out and he thinks he's like found the end, and he looks out and there's literally like, as far as he can see, he's like about to fall out and die, and like as far as he can see there are just endless cubes, and I was like, oh my god, like, so what's the point, you know? Do you guys remember that movie? I wonder if those movies, like, people still watch those. Oh, they used to spook me out so bad. I don't like those movies. But anyway, like, movies or books that make you feel really, really uncomfortable. I don't know. Now, my throat is, like, past the hurting stage, and it's now to, like, the itching stage, which I think is when it's about to be better, right? But get ready, because guess what? I was just looking at the weather because somebody told me that in Kentucky it's supposed to snow a week from Monday. I just looked at the weather, and it's 69 right now here. Tomorrow the high is supposed to be like 54. And then the rest of the week it's supposed to be like high 40s, low 50s. And I'm like, so great. So we're going from like 75, 78 degree weather to like 50. I hope I don't get sick again. I seem to get sick a lot when the weather changes. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I hope not, though. I have that Pet Cemetery song stuck in my head. You know that, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I really do love Diet Coke, though. I know it's so bad for me, you guys, but I do. I think I like Diet Coke more than I like regular Coke, honestly. And I used to be so weird because I used to have like have to have the really small crunchy ice. Like Tanya and I would always go to certain, like, we drive way out to this one gas station because she likes the crunchy ice, this BP. And I don't even like the crunchy ice anymore. I like the bigger ice. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know like when that changed for me, but I had this period that I went through where I just was like, I can't do the crunchy small ice anymore. And I think it's because like I got a fountain Coke at some restaurant, like takeout, and it had that in there and it didn't taste good, and I think it reminds me of that. Does stuff ever do that to you? It's like I haven't had Subway in forever because the smell of walking into a Subway gags me. It's just like dry heaves. I'm actually really hungry right now. I don't think I have any change. I'm gonna have to like charge this $1.09 Diet Coke. I never go to this McDonald's either. This McDonald's is like right by us and I never go.
How can I help you?
Can I get a large Diet Coke, please? Nope, that's it. I wonder what this person... Do you ever wonder what the people in front of you got? Are you ever nosy like that? I'm totally nosy like that all the time. I'm like, what did they get? Did they get a McFishin? McFishin. A McFishin is basically like a chicken and a fish together. McDonald's should totally do that and call it the McFishin sandwich. Oh my God, people think I'm an idiot, but like I could totally make them millions of dollars. A fish chicken sandwich called the McFishin. I'll be right back. Okay, I went and got my Diet Coke, and then I went to the bank, and I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, I don't know what made me think about this, but I was like, wouldn't it be so, at first I was like, wouldn't it be like really funny if there was like somebody that like drove around like every night, like when their day was done. What I was really thinking about was like me and like how lonely I get sometimes, and I was like, I would love if there was a vlogger that was like me, that drove around in a car, and I could just like plug in their thing and just like listen to it and go get a fountain Coke and drive around like we were driving around together. Like, I would love that. And then I was like, I wonder if there is somebody out there that like watches my, or like listens to, I mean, because y'all shouldn't be watching my vlogs while you're driving, right? We already know that. But I wonder if there's somebody out there that like listens to my vlogs and like gets a fountain Coke and just like drives around like listening to it with me. And I was like, maybe it's like somebody that like never comments on my videos and whatever, but like feels like we drive around and listen to these. I think that's kind of nice. I hope in some way, I mean, so many people message me and comment on my videos, and you guys are always so nice, and you're like, I always listen to your vlogs before I go to sleep. It's like a podcast, or, you know, people just say the nicest things. I love it. Very much feel like, you know, it's like, we're kind of like all distant friends talking to each other. I mean, and I know like I don't hear you back, obviously, so it's not like we're having like a legit conversation. I'm not stupid, and I'm not trying to be manipulative and be like, we're all having this great conversation together. I mean, but you know, like in kind of some kind of way, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're laying in bed right now and you're listening to this as you fall asleep, it's kind of like, I want you to know that I do acknowledge that. Like, I think that's great, you know, thank you for allowing me to be part of your ritual of your day. I think that's awesome. Or you drive home from work listening to me, or do your makeup listening to me, or whatever, you know, I love that. So, it's very, very cool to me. I don't think in life we like, we tell each other like how much we really mean to each other, you know? It's interesting because like Tanya and I are very compassionate, very passionate people, very affectionate people, and we hug, we always have hugged, but like only in the last couple of years, since some really traumatic shit has gone down in our lives, have we started saying like, I love you, like when we get off the phone, or like when we part ways or whatever. And it's interesting to me, like, I've never really sat her down and said to her, like, you know, like, okay, in my life, I have like spoken at a lot of weddings. I always get asked to speak at funerals. I don't know why. So I feel very blessed that like I get to pay a homage to people, or like speak about to somebody that I love at their wedding, you know, or if after they're gone, to their funeral. But like I never take that person really aside and let them know in letter form, or even just person to person, how much they really mean to me. And you know, and Tanya's one of those people. Like, you know, Alex and I, since we have been in marriage counseling, it was interesting because he said this to me today. And like I had asked him like 3 times what movie he was watching, and then I came upstairs to take a nap, and he goes, I've told you 3 times and you haven't listened to me. And he was right. Like I was like going outside, I was like setting up my computer outside to like watch my videos, I was reading, I was like doing the wax melts and all that kind. I wasn't listening to him, and he told me 3 times that he was going to watch The Dark Tower, because he even asked me like the first time if I wanted to watch it with him. And so the 3rd time, like when I came upstairs, I was laying down, I go, oh, what are you watching? He goes, I told you 3 times, I'm not going to tell you again. He was like, you know, he goes, I've worked really hard on being attentive to you and what you're interested in. Please be attentive to when I tell you things. And I was like, okay, I hear it loud and clear, right? And so since Alex and I have started in marriage counseling, like, we've been able to be very direct with each other, but also like tell each other like how much we mean to each other. And I'm using that as an example of something that I wasn't doing that hurt his feelings. But like also like we were watching some TV show the other day. I can't even remember what it was. American Horror Story. And that new movie with, is it Morgan Freeman and like, I don't even know, Tom Hanks or somebody that came on. And I say stuff, you guys, all the time, honest to God, like, I think people think that, like, I know, like, one of the comments I get, like, all the time is, you are so funny. Like, I just don't think of myself as funny, you guys. Like, I kind of think of myself as just, like, an idiot. And, like, what's so funny about it is some of, like, the things that my mom said that were, like, the funniest. Like, my mom was such a funny person. But some of the things that she said were the funniest. Like, humor's interesting because some of the things that my mom said were the funniest, like, she didn't even recognize that were funny. They just were things that she was saying, right? My humor tends to be more like my mom's. Now, my dad's, I have the ability to be very humorous like him because I think I modeled after him. But my dad is very, very sarcastic. The problem, and people think he is hilarious, but the problem is there is always somebody that is the butt of his joke. And usually it's the people that are closest around him, like myself or my stepmom. So you get your feelings hurt, right? Because he's probably talking about you so that everybody else laughs. You know, like, oh, you should have seen this outfit that Peter wore one time or something like that, right? But Alex and I say stuff, and like, Alex, I think, is like, you know, like, here's the thing that happens, I think, a lot of times with marriages and relationships, is you get together, and when you're together at first, you're going through that, like, do I want to be with them? Do I not want to be with them? Like, very excited, right? And I always just tell people, take a chance. Like, what do you have to lose? You might make a friend off of it. It might be the best relationship of your entire life. You don't know, right? But then after a while, you start making commitments to each other. You know, I think then we start getting worried, like, are we getting married? Are we going to be together forever? What's happening? Where are we going to be 6 months down the road? All that kind of stuff, right? But, like, after you do all that, after you get married and have the kids and buy the house and get the dogs and all that kind of shit, it's like life just kind of settles into itself. And that's when it's dangerous. Like, if you don't work towards a marriage, that's when it gets dangerous, you know? And so, like, that's one of the things that we really work hard on is keeping the spice alive in our marriage. No, and I don't mean like sexually. I mean in how we feel towards each other, that we constantly see each other as new. But what happens to each partner, and I don't think it's just a one or the other partner. I'm not just talking about us. I'm talking about other couples, because I've worked with a lot of couples that have the same issue, is that you kind of stop seeing new things about that person, or you kind of stop seeing that person in the way that other people see them, if that makes sense, right? Like, I have seen my husband in the last, I would say, 6 months. Like, he looks 10 times sexier to me now than he's ever looked in our whole relationship. And I'm like, am I seeing him from a different point of view? You know, and let me, hold on a second, let me tell you, don't forget that I told you that, because that goes along the lines of how I feel about Tanya and things like that. Well, I'll just say it now. This semi is like all over the road. No, ma'am, I am not dying because you are not driving appropriately. Pass him by. I don't like semis. You guys know that's one of my biggest fears. So anyway, but like, I don't tell him that. I don't say like, you know what, Alex, like, you have looked sexier to me in the last 6 months than you have ever looked to me in our whole relationship. I don't look at Tanya and say, you know what, Tanya, you are the best friend I have ever had in my entire life. I've said it in meetings before, you know, like on her sobriety birthday or mine. You know, I'll say like, when I got sober, I was promised, you know, that if I did what I was told, that I would be able to stay sober, my life would improve, but I was never promised that I would have a best friend. I wasn't. And when I got sober, I was promised if you do these things and you don't pick up one day at a time, you have a chance at living. But I was never promised a husband. I was never promised a best friend. And none of us are in life, you know? So Alex and I were sitting there and we were watching this TV show the other night, and that commercial came on, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I said to him, and I said, I think that I want to go see that movie. That movie looks pretty good. I said, I don't really know what it's about. And he just got laughing so hard, and I go, what is so funny? He goes, I mean, just the way that your mind thinks. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, you're just so funny. He was like, just the way that your mind thinks. And like recently I have found, like, we'll be out doing something, or like with other couples or other friends, and I'll say something and he'll just like start laughing hysterically at something I say, and it's like, I just want to say, baby, we've been together 9.5 years. Did you just realize now that I'm a funny motherfucker? I mean, maybe he did. You know what I mean? Like, maybe his eyes have been awakened just like mine have been. You know, it's like what I was talking about yesterday with, you know, Alex talking about Carol's dressing. By the way, somebody asked tonight for Aunt Caroline's. I loved this so much. They were like, oh, I'm sorry I got the name wrong. I thought it was cute as hell. I loved it. They in my live stream, they said, can we have Aunt Carol's stuffing recipe? I think that when I get the recipe, I'll actually just put it on a vlog. Like, I'll put it in the description box of a vlog. What do y'all think about that? Can you put recipes in vlog description boxes? I guess you could. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So anyway, a couple years ago, I was so proud of myself. We went somewhere, I can't remember, Thanksgiving or somebody at somebody's house, and I made like everything that my mom used to make and bring. She used to make these raw apple muffins that were like so good, you guys, okay? They are like literally the best things. They taste like apples and brown sugar, but then they have like raw apple inside of them. Oh my God, you guys, they're so good. I mean, and when you people are like, oh, raw apple, that sounds gross. No, it's just like eating an apple. So when you bite inside of this muffin, it's like there are bits and pieces of like real apple in there, right? They're so good. And she used to make orange bread, which I would love to have some orange bread. I don't know, I cannot find the recipe for this orange bread. It actually tasted very much just like regular bread, but there was like a hint of orange to it. And then she used to make deviled eggs, and she always used to bring deviled eggs for everything. And I made deviled eggs. I took a picture of it and everything. I bet I have it on my phone. I was so proud of myself, right? And I was like, I'm going to bring this for every holiday from now on. That was the only time. I just don't like to cook, you guys. I really do. I really don't. I just don't enjoy cooking at all. It's just like, I know people love it. Like this audiobook that I'm listening to, she has this cupcake blog, and she loves making these cupcakes and getting them just right and all this kind of stuff, and I just don't relate. I'm just like, I just don't get it, you know? But anyway, back to what I was talking about before. Like, you know, I just don't think that we really tell people how we really feel about them, you know? I just don't think we do. And when you really think in life that people and memories and our time spent with people are really the most valuable pieces of life, you know, more than anything you'll ever own. And if you even think about like buying a house with your husband or wife and putting that house together, it's not really the house. It's the decorating it, the buying it, the getting excited about going to find the house, you know, or building a house. And are we going to do this or are we going to do that? It's all about that, right? It's the time spent together that you get excited about. It's like sometimes I get more excited about planning a trip than I do about actually going on a trip. Please hold, I'm receiving a phone call. I'll be right back. Okay, that was my friend Lori. She was telling me all about her dinner that she had tonight. A 3-course meal dinner, and she went to this great restaurant in Indianapolis. She was telling me that her husband likes salmon. I can't stand fish at all. My mom, when I was growing up, she used to always get orange roughy, and cook it at home, and I hated the smell of it in the house. But anyway, you know, I think we need to tell each other more how much we mean to each other when we do, no matter like in what capacity, you know, whether it's us or, you know, our husbands or our parents or whatever, you know. And my cousin and my aunt used to argue a lot, and neither one of them was right and neither one of them was wrong in the arguments. It was really hard to sit back and watch. And my mom and my aunt could be very toxic at times. You know, I really sing my mom's praises on this channel. and I'm gonna be honest I'm always honest, but like brutally honest. Like, my mom could be, I've talked about this on here before, but she could be a little nutso sometimes and a little, volatile. They just grew up in very difficult situations, and my aunt could be very tough on my cousin at times, and I think it was like so it's weird because we went to French Lick last year at the weekend after Thanksgiving, remember? And I did a whole vlog. I'm so happy I have that vlog. My aunt's actually on that vlog. And, oh my God, my eye is itching so bad. Please, no allergies. But anyway, when we got back, I was talking to Caroline, and I said, Caroline, you need to make it right with your mom. And she hadn't talked to her for like they got into an argument on the way home, and I think Caroline drove separately, and Caroline's husband drove my aunt and uncle home. And I was like, Caroline, you need to make it right. And she was like, I don't even know what I would say. And I said, okay, what you say is, Mom, I love you, and I know our relationship at times is toxic. No matter what, I just want you to know, at times you've been an amazing mother to me. I hope I've been a great daughter for you. I love you, and I just want you to know that. And she said, I can't say that today. And I said, she goes, but maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week or whatever. And, when my aunt passed away, Caroline has no regrets. Caroline was wonderful to her. My aunt was wonderful to Caroline. But it was very similar with my mom and I over time. But we had 13 years of sobriety together. So my mom and I had lots of conversations like that. So when my mom passed away, we were good. You know what I mean? Like, any issue that had ever been an issue in our lives had been discussed. And I'm like that with my dad. Like, if my dad passed away tomorrow, I feel like every issue, any discrepancy, anything from, my parents' divorce, to having questions about that, to my dad's issues with my drug and alcohol use, to my sobriety, to whatever, we've talked it out. We've had every conversation, and so, I would have no guilt, if that makes sense. And I think that's a really important point to get to. But even if somebody in your life passes away and you do have guilt, you have to think to yourself, would that person really, if they were still here, would they really want me to feel that guilt? And they wouldn't, okay? Guilt is a pointless emotion. Nobody would want you to feel that. Nobody. I don't care who they are. Maybe if they were your worst enemy, but... And then if somebody's my worst enemy, I don't really give a shit what they think about me anyway, honestly, right? I just don't. And if I've tried to make it right and clean my side of the street, then that's the best you can ask for. You don't need to work a 12-step program. You don't have to get sober to say, I'm going to make a list of all the people I've harmed in my life, and I'm going to write it. I'm going to make those things right. I'm going to pay back all the debt that I've ever accrued in my life. I'm going to set about making things right in my life. And Louise Hay wrote a very popular book back in the day called You Can Heal Your Life. And she talked in there about AIDS patients and cancer patients, and how, a lot of them, she believed, it was, subdued resentment and anger. But if you, worked on those issues and got them out, then you could resolve those things. And a lot of these people in her book became, cancer-free. If you've ever read the book, it's phenomenal read. But, I talk so much in my channels about being sober. But, it's not like it would kill anybody to read the basic text of our Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, whatever, and work a 12-step program. You can Google 12 steps for everyone and work steps in your life, or not even have to work steps, but just take basic principles of a 12-step program, admitting that there are certain things in life that you're powerless over, looking at the unmanageability in your life and trying to fix it, finding some kind of higher power, whether it's a spiritual higher power or the wind or whatever, making a list of, your fears, your resentments, your sexual conduct, your illicit behaviors towards others, taking a look and seeing what's my part in all of that. How did that affect me as a person? How did that affect different areas of my life, like my self-concept, my self-esteem, on and on and on. Sharing that with another human being, whether that be a spiritual guidance, spiritual counselor, or just a friend, or a stranger on the street, or whatever. Taking a look at your character defects in your life, selfishness, greed, envy, jealousy, all those things, working on those, making amends to all of the people in your life, and as a result of that, continuing to live on a daily basis, giving back to others and being of service to others. I mean, you don't have to work a 12-step program, and I just basically gave you what a 12-step program is, I just gave you what a 12-step program was. And for anybody out there that really wants to, live a better life, live a more compassionate, pure life, you could do that, and I feel so blessed that as a result of getting sober, I was allowed to do that. But, I think as I get older, two things are really important to me. Letting people know how much they really mean to me, and righting the wrongs of my past. Because if I right the wrongs of my past, then I live my life not with no regrets, but with lessons learned from regrets, if that makes sense. And then my relationships with people mean more. And then my life is fuller, and my life means more to me. And then the people in my life mean more to me, and the memories mean more to me. And that's really what I want from life, is for everything to have meaning and context. But to do that, I have to make sure that I'm clean, I'm taken care of, I'm fixed. Fixed permanently? No. But that, I'm learning on a daily basis, progress, not perfection, so to speak. And, I've had so many people come to me through the years and say, oh my God, you should be so, you feel so lucky that you have a 12-step program. I'm like, you don't have to have a 12-step program to, do the same things that we do in our lives. Read the book. It'll tell you in there how to fix. You can do the same thing with your life. You don't have to have any issue, or, find an issue in your life that you feel like you have some addictive nature over, and use that as a basis. Because really, at the end of the day, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's gambling, whether it's food, whether it's, shopping, whether it's working, whether it's relationships, whether it's love, whatever, because you can be addicted to love as well. All of those are but symptoms of what's going on underneath us. And really the trick is getting to those things that are underneath us. So, and then for me today, it's taking all of that and letting people know how important they are to me. And I want to do that, because I want to have the most meaningful, quality-driven life possible. So, all right, you guys. You got a short vlog tonight. Tomorrow, you're getting a longer vlog, I promise. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.